Good morning. Welcome to CATEX-TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. This is a live broadcast from Princeton, New Jersey. Today is Tuesday, January 12, 2010. It's 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the U.S. It's 4:30 p.m. in London. In Mexico City, it's 10:30 a.m. If you need to reach us during the broadcast, you can phone in toll-free at 1-866-67-CATEX, or overseas, our instant mail address on AOL is CATEX-TV. I want to thank our newfound friends in Hartford, Connecticut for their hospitality yesterday. It was good to see them and meet them and work with them. And we'll be in touch. Today's birthdays: the former heavyweight champion of the world from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Joe Frazier, is 66 years old today. And now to today's news. The U.S. trade deficit jumped to the highest level in 10 months, but there's some good news here. The improving U.S. economy pushed up demand for overseas imports. However, exports from the U.S. rose as well. They were boosted by the weaker dollar. This supports the view that American manufacturers will be helped in the rebound in the global economy. The American government reported this morning that the trade deficit jumped to 9.7%. It jumped 9.7%, to $36.5 billion during the month of November. This is a bit of a bigger imbalance than the $34.5 billion that economists had forecast. The politically sensitive deficit with China, that shrunk by about 11% in November to $20.2 billion as American exports to China hit an all-time high. However, through November, the deficit with China is still the largest the U.S. incurs with any country, but it is down about 16% from the same period in 2008. The stock market in New York is down about 24 points right now. Renaissance Re down in Bermuda made some news. Neil Curry, the group's chairman, announced a consolidation of its global underwriting organization. The big winner seems to be Kevin O'Donnell. Kevin O'Donnell, who is currently the senior VP and president of the company's reinsurance operations, has been promoted to executive vice president and global chief underwriting officer, with responsibility for RenRe's global reinsurance and insurance underwriting business. That appointment's effective immediately. RenRe also announced that Jay Nichols, who served as EVP since February of 2003, and Bill Ashley, who's the president and CEO of the company's insurance operations, have both announced their retirement. Nichols is going to retire in June of 2010. He's going to hand his responsibilities over to Aditya Dutt, who is currently Senior VP. Ashley, we believe, is going to be retiring immediately. So best of luck to both men, Bill Ashley in particular, whom we know. The Hartford's coming out with some interesting news. It's sparking a rally in their stock. The Hartford announced early this morning estimated fourth quarter 2009 earnings per share of between $1.45 and $1.60. The company's previous guidance had been 65 cents to 80 cents. That's a big jump. The Hartford's estimated fourth quarter 2009 financial results are preliminary, and of course they're subject to review, but that didn't stop the new president, CEO, and chairman, Liam McGee, from saying that the core businesses of the Hartford performed well in the fourth quarter, and we intend to release our fourth quarter and full year 2009 results on February 8, 2010. There was a little earthquake in California over the weekend. It wasn't so little, actually. As it turns out, it was a 5.8. You can see it here in the back, the rather larger square. That's the earthquake that came in on, actually it was a 6.5. It was a 6.5 earthquake that struck on Saturday afternoon, California time. They've now sustained something like 80 aftershocks. That's what those other squares in the area were. Maybe we could pull that up again. That's in Humboldt County, California, up in Northern California. And geologically, the San Andreas Fault emerges from the Pacific floor just about 70 miles to the west of that point of land there in Eureka, California. The figures and damages for Eureka, which is the only city of any major size up there, are up to now 28 million US. The public information officer for Eureka said, "We're still inspecting damaged buildings and we expect that number to increase." Two more quakes were recorded locally out there yesterday. One was at 3.1 and the other was at 3.5. So there now have been 28, not 80, 28 earthquakes, including aftershocks since Saturday's big quake. The number of structures damaged in the city of Eureka are now estimated to be 220. There's been an estimated $22 million in damage, not including $1 million in damage to the post office, as well as $6 million of damage to the mall, which is called the Bayshore Mall. The post office has announced that it will be closed until further notice. Structural engineers are looking at the building, and no word has been obtained from the mall or the people management, which is still closed. So it was a little bit of a shock out there. The FAA is issuing an order as we speak, insisting on the inspection of about 130 older Boeing 737 jets. This is coming 6 months after a Southwest Airlines 737-200 developed a 1 foot wide hole in its main body in mid-flight. The FAA safety directive calls for stepped-up inspections to find possible cracks in the fuselage skin of about 130 Boeing 737s. The mandatory directive comes 4 months after Boeing put out a voluntary service bulletin. The incident back in July saw a Southwest jet make an emergency landing in West Virginia after the hole emerged at about 30,000 feet, causing the oxygen mask to drop. We'll now go to a word from our sponsors and come back with the rest of the news. The Moroccan flag carrier Royal Air Maroc is making some news. They've appointed UIB as the sole insurance broker for the renewal of their comprehensive package of insurances. UIB said that the deal signaled its intention to increase its share of the North African airline market. UIB currently also has Air Algeria as a client. Royal Air Maroc is not a small player. They have 71 aircraft in their fleet with a value of about $1.5 billion, and its routes cover the U.S., Europe, and the Middle East. JLT was the previous appointed broker, and UIB secured the business in a tender ahead of Marsh & Willis. The UIB Aviational Divisional Director Francesco Alessi said, "Of course, we're delighted to have been selected by Royal Air Maroc." In South Korea, extreme cold is causing the citizenry to be urged by the government to save energy after unusually icy weather caused a surge in power demand, sparking concern about possible power blackouts. The government's economic minister said that the country used a record amount of electricity in the past 4 days, peaking at about 69 million kilowatts on Friday. That's about 5 million kilowatts more than the recorded peak of last summer. Unless people reduce usage, the minister warned that the reserve capacity will fall below 4 million kilowatts, which would be considered an emergency.